Hello there and welcome. This is Kate in the nest, and I'm so glad you're with me. As always, it's um, just for fun. And so today is an update on my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 5, The Big Still Life. Congratulations to all those who I have seen working on theirs, and to Rachel and Sarah seeing the progress today on their piece. I want to put this one away. So I'm at that point where she's backed. Uh, Binding is on, which was the original tablecloth. She's virtually covered, and I'll put a tiny video at the end, just standing above and showing you the perspective. But I do love always the idea that a piece of mine is never finished. And it happened. Oh, first of all, how are you going? How was the weekend? If you're watching this after the weekend, I wanted to say that I hope you're well. And if you've had nothing else to smile about today, I hope you might get a smile from my completed pink pony pin cushion, which was my fast and fun. And look, I've started to use her. My rule to myself is horsey pony can't get covered, needles up here. So I practiced my stem stitch, or whatever that outliney stitch is. I started to think about colouring her all in, but I didn't. But on the back side, you know how I get bored. Look at her. This is my little horsey who's got French knots in wool, and that has made me so happy. And I've started to do some odd bits of stitches. Who knows what may end up on here? I just realised, because that's where I went. So this pincushion is my heaviest. I looked up and I've got rice in her. She reminds me of those, bean bags that used to find frogs made out of and use in sport, or, warm up in the microwave. Anyway, so it has the usual polyester filler in it and rice. And I figure in my nest, she is just going to stay there, not be portable, and make me smile every time I stitch. So start yelling out to me. I've done some more rearrangement. So back to where I was up to. That's my stitchy bag. So big piece, a metre by metre. And as part of my order that had the horse fabric, quilting fabric from Beckett's Sobeys, I ordered this little bunny rabbit. And I'm at the I don't know what's happening. This is getting more and more fantastical and whimsical. I suppose is the word that some of you use about my work. So before I go to that, I'll tell you how I've completed mine. I've taken, where do I start? Down the bottom here. I'll try and go, which way do I go out? Oh gosh, it's scary. No, this way. Yep. You know that I had this feed sack around the bottom. There's my big jug in the corner. And so the bottom is very much all of these little patchworky bits with always things to do on there. So to match that up, I've done the top similarly with this patchwork old quilt topper. It's not all that bright, so I've had to put some bits over the top to get the colour. So one of my other ideas today is to add some colour here. But I have a sense, and as I've said various times, I've sort of used this one as a sampler. It's a learning, and when I look at her, I understand all the things that I still need to learn. Like, for example, this is very, very white over here. So I'll get my paints out and paint the background of that. I've got this one huge center medallion that I quilted down. I have my vase up here and my fruit. I found the candelabra the other day, and that, you know, I'd harvested way back when I found that, and I'm not sure, but that's close in case I want to go on it. But I'm fixated right now by the idea of, it's like a Mad Hatter's tea party. So these, I needed a third piece, but there wasn't enough spot for a plate or anything. So instead, I'm going to have a bunny rabbit there. So I'm going to come down. No, I have to come up. How about that? Might be too close. I can't see. But to get me started, I found this little pinky reddy rabbit that I want to applique. And as I said, it's just been, if you've been following me and this project, you know it has a whole story itself. But that's why I'm so grateful for these projects that the girls offer, because without the prompt, I would never have tried anything like this. And by seeing each other's works, we get inspired and challenged. So I feel I don't want to cover up. It's not, the rabbit's really a little bit big for the space, but if she's sort of going up that way, I'll cut a bit more off the ears. Because it's a very wonky teacup anyway. How about that? Yeah, get these angles okay. There we go. I'm really happy that this one is much flatter, and when I quilt even more, it's yeah, I just love the texture. It's got bumps and all sorts of things. I'm really happy with this flower, not finished yet. And here we go. So I'm going to try, I'll start, this is always the hardest for me, work out where to start. Let's start in this ear. I meant this ear, Kate. So I'm using pink variegated, what is it called? Wonder thread or something like that, eleganza. On this I was going to use wool, but too many layers to go through. sound effects are happening already. Okay, adjust the tension. Feeling very blessed today because I had home day yesterday where I got into my wearables, which is what I was hoping to do, and then today another day in a row without leaving the house. And so I did some tidying, which is really playing here, but I'm getting it. I know we talk about our rooms a lot, don't we? And mine sure needs more work, but I'm just embracing it. And if I find something that I want to make along the way, I just stop and do it. This is a piece that I have a half a swan on it, but actually in this way leave my mastery of swans to another piece that I'm designing at the moment, and yeah, just use these animals that have come into the nest recently. That's just really going to get my fingers. Let's see if that's better. I also came across some projects that I'd put in a plastic box ages ago, I think last year, that I haven't seen since because I stack the boxes and then my eyes don't see them. So I bought a few out of the box to use those for paper rather than stitcheries. Okay, now there's the rabbit's tail. I feel like I might just go across here and then I could do something white and fluffy or a bit of fringe. Wouldn't that be fun? Unaccustomed as I am to rabbits and bunnies. But isn't, if you watch in a sequential order, which you don't have to at all, I would have to say I was just thinking then as I talking out loud to myself, this is all sort of sprung from my black little bag with the toadstools and bunnies on it. The fabric that Kristen bought and shared. Otherwise I would never ever have been thinking this way. Okay, so there we are. We've got the hang of that. We're going to have that little bunny with some texture on the tail and I think some French knots there. The other thing I wanted to have a go at is talk to you about this very bold picture here, as in picture of water, etc., which is down in the garden. And because these weren't on the diagonal, I've always felt that I needed something to sort of balance. So following my current crazy thinking, I have this beautiful big pink, what did someone tell me that was? Like mega tapestry or something. Oh, did I show you this? I have like a little fringy curtain top there, but cut to the chase. I couldn't fit a jug or a pitcher or anything else, but I can fit a heart. So up here in the very corner, balancing out, in fact it should go maybe under there a little bit. That's what it's going to do. So I'm just going to snip this a bit. Oh no, does the heart? Yep, I have to snip this. Yep, just so that the heart is coming out of the flower, perhaps, and I can get my proportions right. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we all, I mean, now I'm going to be literal. If we think of our houses, we've all got symbols and things around, and in the month of May, it's very much been hearts and love and birthdays and Mother's Days and all of that around here. So we've got that, we've got that. We'll go the lighter one. I'm so excited about that because I can, my pincushion, because it's so big and heavy that it can't sort of flit off like my swans and my other cupcakes. And then I can put a cupcake in every one of my pouches and things that I take about and around, which does remind me, see, I'm just chatting away here. I realise that it is nearly time to start work on my collection to take away with me next week. So I don't know what I'll call the collection, but I need to do one because that's just what I do. I love that idea of memories. And I can compare my collection from this time last year to where I am now. I like this actually because it's also embroidering, well, not embroidering, filling in some of this flower tapestry. Okay, now we're going to go actually onto the heart. Now I could do running stitch around or over stitch it. I feel I want to over stitch because then that contrasts to the that up there. I do need to add a little bit more colour to somehow. I don't know, because it's just such beautiful fabric that I don't want to interfere with. Here comes the darkness. Now look what I've just realised. It's all right. I've got the curtains underneath the heart, but then they come out. Well, they're not really curtains. It was just the edging of that fabric that was on the sofa. Just checking that you can see this. I'm a little bit over in that corner, aren't I? Here we go. Out of there. So funny when you've done a big piece of work. Like by last week, I thought I've done this enough, and now that I'm sitting down with you, I'm just getting re-excited. But I will put it away, and then I'm looking forward to Thursday's prompt. For the new volume. Yes. Sorry, I'm not finishing my sentences because the fabric and the texture is so good to feel. All right, and I love that that's going a bit fluoro there. Take that out. The birds are singing, the wind has stopped a little. Okay. So this isn't going into a frame. This is just a piece for my knees, I'd probably call it. Okay. Up here, I put this. Look at that for a flower, but it's not quite standing out enough. So I've really enjoyed picking up things from all sorts of places, and the idea that quilters hand quilted with black. Now I have to, right now as I was talking about that, say that my mind went to my friend Maria. Hello Maria, who recommended that I listen to a podcast called Haptic and Hue. Now, I don't know whether you have heard about that, but in the spirit of sharing, oh my gosh, I am so hooked. I've started from the beginning, out of the UK, but stories everywhere, and it's something that you can just jump into and listen. So it's been around for a while, but for me, it's a new world, and the fact that I'm learning as I stitch is just so exciting. So I'm going to download a whole lot of those for the plane as I stitch. Can I do this stitch upwards? Be good if I learn how to do that, wouldn't it? I could just turn it into a back stitch. Which is what is happening. So this is a torn part of the flower. I love that. In the podcast, the lady who introduces it talks about the hidden hands, and that's what I've really grabbed onto that in our work, and especially those of us who use vintage pieces or just pieces with a history before us. I'm trying to make visible the hands that have gone before us, and they would never have known, I'm sure, where they would end up. And this quilt in particular, being in my faraway place in the world, on a piece that's got crazy teapots and now a rabbit, and the swan without a head. But its life is going on and being shared. What about this idea of they just put little clusters into the center of each square to hold it down, in contrast to all the stitches that we put onto some of ours these days, and especially machine stitches. How are we going? I'll get around this corner and see if that's made a difference. Yep, it is going to. I'll see if I can get a bit faster. Well, now I could do my new stitch. We'll have to get more practice at going around the corners. Oh. As I said, this isn't a tutorial, this is cake following instinct. Okay, one big squish. Maybe I should. Yeah, I might stop here because it'll be more of the same. Maybe I was too far up then, sorry if I was. So just as well I stopped. So there we are, outlining that little. Please don't criticize if I went out then. I was just in joy. Okay, so I'll make a little video after this. It won't be great quality and it's hard to capture it all, but top right hand corner across, and we've got bunny rabbit and the teacups now, like that. Oh my gosh, the whole what's happened? I've knocked the whole phone and stand over in my excitement. Okay, so that's the center medallion, which is the bunch of flowers but looking downward on them. So they're looking up. And then over this side we have teacup, fruit all around the sides, of course. And then down here we have bowl of fruit. The swan whose head got covered by a very large flower, the bit that you've seen a lot of, and still the script from Rachel's original fabric. I haven't completed this, so again I might even do something to match that diagonal. But for the moment, I think that's enough on this piece. I'll leave you with that lovely sunny sunflower and say thank you so much for joining me, for being with me on the journey of this quite rogue still life, but I have loved every moment of it and learned so much. So until next time, bye.